heart to burning up my back and in my brain. Oh, are you old enough to walk in such a place? Oh, are you strong enough for the lions at the gate? Hey, come dreamers and believers till the bulls and the strong face.
All right, guys, it is game day. It is game day once again for the Rio Hondo Prep Cares, who will be taking on the Linfield Christian Lions. Once again, an opponent named the Lions. Cannot wait for this game. I've been waiting, well, you know how long, just about a week, although we get it a little earlier this week due to the fact that we are playing this week 2 matchup on Thursday evening, having to move the game because of, officiating shortages and such. So no big deal. Both teams have to make the adjustment. And here we are on the Charge to Keep podcast, week two game preview, if you will, just a little brief 20 maybe minute episode here where we can chat about the game tonight, maybe offer up some of my keys, some of the things I'm hoping to see tonight. But I also have a treat for you guys today. I didn't promote this or anything, but I made it happen. Coach DeChon Burns from Linfield Christian will be joining me here shortly. Coach Burns has joined me before on my Get Home Safe podcast for a long form interview, and also last year before Rio Hondo Prep played at Linfield Christian down there in Temecula. He's a classy dude. He's a guy who has coached at all levels, including the NFL and in college, where he coached my former teammate, Rio Hondo Prep star Landon Goodwell back in the day after his playing days at Rio Hondo Prep, Rio's leading career rusher. He went into college at the University of Texas, El Paso, also known as UTEP, and he continued his playing career there as a defensive lineman. And it was Coach Burns who coached up Landon there for a few years. And so that's always fun to have different connections and such. But Landon learned a thing or two from Coach Burns. And last year, Landon had bragging rights over his former coach who, lost to the Cares last year down in Temecula. So Landon was rather happy about that. And so the pressure is on for this year's team. I know Linfield is hungry. They're coming into this game ready to rock and roll. Coach Burns is always going to have his guys ready. Very talented group. They had a blowout win and then lost, I think, the week 1 or whatever week it was. Their other game, they lost by a couple touchdowns. So this is a rather competitive group, a team that is going to challenge Rio Hondo through the air, on the ground, just every facet of the game. They are really gonna bring it for the Cares. So Rio needs to be ready. And again, I can't say enough high praise for Coach Burns. Every chance I've got to talk with him, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I thought it would be a lot of fun today to bring him on the program, a little pregame interview, if you will. His time is very, very valuable. And I do appreciate him taking the time out of his very busy schedule as he is preparing to take on our very own Rio Hondo Prep Cares this Thursday. So I do want to say real quick, last week, I kind of implemented some music before the podcast here. Just kind of little symbolism. And I only did it on the Sunday episode, the main event episode, if you will, but I'm going to try to have a little song out there that's kind of the theme of the week, I guess, or maybe just a song that I really like that's football related, typically to the Friday night stuff. And so this week, I know little hipster kind of sounding, right? Little different sounding music there. But why I picked it was it's entitled Lions at the Gate. And I think we have a second pack of Lions at our gate this Thursday. Took care of last week's Lions and the El Monte Lions quite well, but there's a new challenge this week. And the part of the lyrics there in the song, it said, are you old enough for to be here, basically, in this place, I think it said. And then it said, are you strong enough to handle the Lions at the gate? So that line spoke to me. I don't care what the music is, if it's rap, if it's country, if it's jazz, if it's hipster rock, whatever. If it's got some good lyrics in there that I think kind of fit the moment, then I'm gonna throw them into my podcast here. And I got other songs lined up A lot of them are just going to be, Friday night football. This is a football town, that stuff like that. Road trips. I'll have some road songs in there. But anyway, I thought I'd share that with you guys just because you're like, what is this music going on? Anyway, there's a rhyme and a reason to everything I do here at the Charge to Keep podcast, including bringing on the opposing coach of the upcoming game this Thursday evening. So let me step aside, make sure we're still good to go here with everything. But it is my privilege, guys, to bring to you the head coach of the Linfield Christian Lions, Mr. DeChon Burns. Okay, it is now my privilege to be joined by the head coach of the Linfield Christian Lions, Coach DeChon Burns. What's going on, Coach? Good to see you again.
Good seeing you. Thank you very much, Matt. Just here prepping for the game, and we just got to have a little pep rally with the school and kind of on a little lunch break right now. So always great to talk football and see you.
Absolutely. Happy New Year, man. This is the best time of year.
Yes, indeed. Happy New Year to you, too. It is a good time, especially coming off of the COVID, all the craziness. It's good to get some normalcy back. It's really good.
You got that right. Let's just play some football. It's not too often, Coach Burns, I get to talk to the opposing coach before the game. You were gracious enough to do that with us last year, and I just appreciate you taking the time to chat with us today out of your busy schedule, preparing for those Rio Hondo guys.
Yes, indeed. It's always a pleasure once again to talk ball, and it's about the kids. That's the bottom line. It's about the kids and the players. And we were once there, as you know, you played there, and it's your alma mater, and I was blessed enough to play. So we were once there, and it's neat to have somebody talk about you and just recognize the hard work and effort that you put into this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys won a CIF championship a few years ago, and Coach Burns, for those that don't know, you've coached at every level. You've coached at college, you've coached in the NFL even. But being at Linfield Christian here, back at the high school level, what is it that's special for you about coaching at the high school level, where so many of us played and didn't continue our careers? But what is significant to you about coaching at the high school level?
Just watching the piece of clay mold, right? They're still impressionable. They still can be taught things. They're minimal on their bad habits. And you have a chance to make young men, right? You have a chance to pour into them and let them know how things really work without the politics and the attitudes and stuff like that. It's like the last few frontiers of it being pure still. And then watching a kid that maybe not sure if he wants to play or how to play, or just seeing those things, right? Seeing a kid go from being on the bench and not sure if he can play to being a starter to, being all league or all conference, or even going to college, and playing in college. I mean, that's great to see them fulfill a dream. So.
Yeah, you've helped a lot of kids get to the next level from high school to college, and then college to the NFL even. And, our big connection is you coached one of my former teammates, a Rio Hondo great, Landon Goodwell. Back in the day, he leaves Rio where he's Mr. All-Star, Mr. Everything. And then he goes into college at UTEP, coach, and had to get humbled a little bit by you back in the day.
Well, yeah, I think I got Landon. He was a backer. When I got there, Landon was he was converting from linebacker to defensive end. And so it was brought to my attention. He was the man at Rio Hondo Prep and came in and worked well, in the sense that he played with a lot of pride and passion, and he was tough. Like, he was tough as nails, and he didn't turn work down. And I grew to it, and he didn't know me. And here I come in, this guy that's hype, and I'm all fire, and I'm all gas, no brakes, and I'm on him about every little thing. And, nothing was too sacred to talk about, and but it was still about pouring into those guys and watching them be what they can be. So it was a blast to coach Landon and those guys. He was a heck of a player, competitor, had a nice little side scissors move that kind of worked with him on, and taught him in a little up and under, and very productive for us in a 3-3-5 plan. I think he might have been 240, maybe 240 at the defensive end for us in Conference USA. So Landon was goody mob. I used to call him Goody Mob.
Yeah, love that guy. I think I call him Great Well sometimes, but he told me about there was some about a loaf of bread that he had to carry around campus a few times, I think, courtesy of you.
Well, yeah, we had a little deal where we grade, right? Where as coaches, we got to grade performance, production, and so I really graded on loaves. So I never wanted, and we had a definition of what loaves. It was just 5 little 5 little PowerPoints or sidebars of what a definition of what loaf was. And so after a game, whoever had the most loaves had to carry a loaf of bread that I had bought from the store, and you carry that around campus. And if I caught you with it, or my GA caught you without the loaf, then there's some extra opportunity to run and figure out why you need to have that loaf of bread on you. So if I sent a GA to class and he didn't see the loaf of bread with you, it was going to be a problem, going to be an issue about 5:30 in the morning. And then the only way you can get the loaf off of you is if somebody else had more loaves than you the following week. So nobody really wanted to carry around the loaf of bread. And the bread, by the time it was game 10, it was moldy and crushed, and it wasn't a new loaf. It was this bag.
Same
And
one.
so he might have carried it around a few weeks there. He might have.
Coach Burns, it's hard enough for a young college man to talk to the ladies as is, but having to carry a loaf of bread and explain to that young lady that, hey, I didn't try hard enough in practice. Basically, this is why I have to carry this around. I mean, that had to really, really be hard on the social life too.
Well, I mean, it's a life lesson, right? Tighten
Yeah.
up, and so that if you're not trying hard enough on the field, you're probably not gonna try hard enough to get the girl's number and take care of her. I don't know what to tell you, son. I just know I don't want to eat loafing on my field. So if you're okay with it, and you want to be a capital bread maker, then be that. But otherwise, hustle, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Oh man, that's fantastic. I hope Landon didn't have to carry that too often, but Landon's doing great now. We chat every now and then. He's a father of two,
Yes.
lovely wife Jasmine, and he's got a great career. So I couldn't be more happy for my friend. And I think it's because of guys like you were pushing him all those years.
Well, I mean, I think God charges us to be genuinely who we're supposed to be for these young men, right? And if we're fortunate enough to have some people that sowed into us and poured in us, then we got to return it, right? We got to give back. So it was always in Landon. Sometimes, it doesn't come out because guys aren't empowered to bring it out or don't know how to bring it out, or whatever the case was, or you come from a small school, and he mentioned that a lot, and that was his fire to prove that he belonged at times, and that was actually good for him because it wasn't a deal where he was problematic. It was just he worked differently. He worked like these kids nowadays say he get it out the mud. He was working like he had been grinding, and that he had been working his entirety to earn or garnish the respect that he deserved because of his skill set. And it's football. It's alpha male sport. A lot of people downplay where you come from. They figure the bigger the school, the better the talent, and and that's such a farce. It's so not true. The reality is there's good football all over, and he upheld that. And I think that as coaches, if you're doing it for the right reasons, man, I mean, I can't say everybody is. I don't know. In my eyes, I've seen a lot, and I just shake my head at some of the stuff I see. But you're supposed to do it for the right reasons and develop guys, pour and mentor into them, helping them be a better version of themselves by the time they leave. Because the reality is, we got them. If you had a child and he was playing high school ball, I'm going to have your child longer than you're going to have him during the football season. 7:30 in the morning until 8, 9 o'clock at night, and on Fridays it's still 10 o'clock. He's going to come home, eat, give you a couple grumbles. How's the game? All right, I guess. Go to sleep, wake up, go lift on Saturday, come back home dead tired, right? So we have an obligation to give them back better than what they came to us. And hopefully we spark something in the guy, and that he responds and answers the bell, and you just want what's best for them. It's about them. My time is done, right? I'm on the backside of this thing, so you know.
Well, you talked about size of the school, Rio Hondo and Linfield Christian, two smaller schools enrollment wise, but good football from both of these programs. You guys have had great success. Rio's been off and running here for a while. If you could, Coach, talk to me, kind of piggybacking on that, the whole just the concept of good football. You guys have had a very successful program. You guys are 1-1. Rio's only played one game; they're 1-0. So a lot of excitement here. I'm kind of glad this matchup has been happening the past few years, because I think it's two programs that really do respect each other.
Yes, I mean, the last time we played you guys, obviously in that, or this past fall, or the 21 fall, post COVID, 2 seasons in 1 year type deal. You guys are strong and came out, and some good football playing. Guys are tough. They play hard, disciplined. You see what coach is trying to get done there, and then the guys execute it and they go after it. And they don't have big numbers. And there's no 6'5" guys. I mean, your boy McCullough is the biggest guy. You know, he's the biggest alligator in the swamp there, and you know, he's got some offers, and so he represents that well. But at this level, man, I'm a strong believer in it's about development, because if they're fortunate enough to go to the next level, especially in this day and age, with the portal and all the other things that go on, the guys aren't ready made. If you're, excuse me, if you're not ready made or understand what it looks like, there's not room for you. You don't have a job. So it's always good to see programs that develop and coach and build guys, right? Right. You got to
Mm-hmm.
pour into them and get them right. So you're right. Strong program. I mean, nothing but respect for Rio Hondo. Guys have been doing it for a long time. Obviously, well before I was here in '09, I think Linfield and Rio Hondo locked up in the championship, and it was in the mud and
Ooh.
6'9", so it was a dogfight and physical and nasty. So that is respected, and that's kind of like what the standard is when the two teams lock up. So seeing kids get developed and getting coached is really what makes it thrive for me as a coach, and why I got into it and why I do it to this day. It's about seeing the development
Yeah.
and what a kid is after 2, 3, 4 years in a program.
I think you and Coach Carson have a very similar approach as far as that whole concept of, hey, let's make average guys good. Let's make good guys great and great players exceptional. Development, no matter where you start, improvement from the off season into the summer and beyond. I mean, that's what this game is all about. I think you see it more in football than any other sport.
Almost definitely. And I think I know for a fact the goal here is, if you are fortunate enough to get to school, I don't want to see you after Thanksgiving break. I don't want to see you in December. I don't want to see you Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, spring break. I don't want to see you back here in October. So you have to be ready to deal with what you're going to walk into should you want to do this at the next level. And if it's not at the next level in football, then it's adulting, right? Like entering the adulthood, and now there's a 9 to 5, and there's no longer waking up at 7:30, coming and having some Starbucks and, you know, class, and then there's lunch, and then sick days and vacation. It's making you ready so that you can sustain yourself and knuckle up and throw wherever you're at. So I don't want guys coming back because they couldn't handle it or
Mm.
something wasn't right. So I think once again we have an obligation to develop and make these guys college ready. I mean, we're college preparatory. Okay. Yeah, so we're college preparatory school, so why not be college prep and athletics as well? If we're fortunate, for kids fortunate enough to go do it, then he should be ready for what he's going to walk into, what it's going to look like, the preparation, the camp, the hard coaching, the minimal data boys. You know, you get them when they're deserved, but it's always pushing and prodding, understanding how to meet, how to study, how to work, how to train, how to lift, how to sleep, how to take care of your body, how to go to class, how to study. Um, those things are very, very, very important to sustainability, not just in college, but in life. So, um, I mean, that's our goal here. We want guys that are ready and they go contribute. And I think we've been blessed to have guys be able to go do that.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely. That's great stuff. And as a big reason I wanted to bring you on here, Coach Burns, is so that, give some insight into our fans and be like, hey, there's some great coaches out there. And Rio is up for a big test this weekend, or this Thursday, excuse me, with, with a team led by someone like you, because you expect a lot out of your guys and are going to get great effort from those guys. So I'm excited about this game once again. If you would, I'd like to talk about your first two games, just from looking at a stats standpoint. You had a victory at Laura High School, a loss at Pacifica. Just from looking at stats, it looks like in the first game you guys put up a lot of yards, and in the second game a lot less yards, I guess you'd say. So what was kind of your experience with those two games? It looks like you guys only have one turnover, I think, in two games. So that's definitely a positive for you guys. But if you would kind of summarize the first two games.
Well, it's eves and flows, right? It's understanding how to win and then how to lose, and after you win, understand how to take that momentum and keep riding with it. Learn how to tune out. the white noise that comes in sometimes tells you how awesome you are after a dub, and then tells you how bad you are when you lose. And then it's execution, right? You got to be firing on all cylinders. And the reality is, the team that makes the least amount of mistakes or does not execute, the team that executes more than they don't, will probably be on the top. And Pacifica was a tough team. They came out as a physical ball game. You got to capitalize on chances that you have. It was neck and neck for a little bit there, and then obviously they jumped out ahead for a little bit, and then we had opportunities to kind of shut it down and make sure we can stay in the hunt. We got to make plays. We got to tackle. I mean, it's the fundamentals, and when you don't execute, it can pop you. So I think it was a great lesson learned, eye-opening, and understanding that you got to be in and operate and execute every single snap, because every single snap matters. Not to take anything away from Pacifica, they did a good job. They executed and they stuck to the game plan. They're really good quarterback, running back was effective. And we knew going in the game we had to contain him and do some things, and you just can't miss, you can't miss tackles, because those hurt you. Miss tackles and your assignments, they hurt. So if you don't do that, the chances of you having a dub at the end of the day is slim.
Mm-hmm. If you don't, I mean, isn't it interesting that this game we both love? You almost hear it all the time, but you could really summarize the game of football with it's blocking and tackling. If you don't block, if you don't tackle, you're probably going to lose a game. There's other elements too, but that's the foundation, as you mentioned. And this game comes down to blocking and tackling. We just want to simplify it.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. If you go from high school, junior high, high school, college, and the pros, at the end of the day, if you don't block and you don't tackle, you won't have success. And I say that with a little bit of my belt, kind of seen it. My kids have been through it. It's been a lifestyle, right? Been around it. I think when we're at UTEP, we were playing Houston and they were ranked, and nobody gave us a shot. We're at UTEP and we came out and had one of our better games against Houston. And we shut down this elusive running game under Coach Browns at the time, and they were doing that run and shooting. They were getting after it a little bit, and we came out and executed, and we tackled and didn't give big plays. Guys were flying to the football, attitude and effort and fundamentals. And two of those things I don't control. The coach, attitude and effort, we don't control. The fundamentals, we will prep you, but I don't control your attitude. The business decision you make when you see the 230-pounder in the hole, it's a day for destruction, man. You got to want that work. And if you choose not to, put the hard hat on, it's probably not going to be good for you. So, it boils down to, like you said, blocking and tackling and execution, right? I mean, that's the bottom line.
Absolutely. Well, couldn't say better myself there, Coach. It has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. Hey, you got a long bus trip on Thursday. It's supposed to be a nice warm day. So, cool off and have a nice, safe trip. We can't wait to see you, Coach. It's going to be a fun time under the Thursday night lights. And I'm happy I'm going to be able to see you in person. I'll definitely come say hello before the game.
Yeah.
And it should be fun, Coach Burns.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, this is kind of neat. I appreciate you reaching out and getting this going. It's been kind of neat to do it back to back. Appreciate you looking for a good deal. I'm familiar with the area and kind of been there during the CIF meetings. We used to have the CIF meetings there, the divisional meetings for our division there at your school. And then I think when my kids were in middle school, we played your middle school team or the Cares team or whatever. Rio Hondo and Linfield Christian used to play in middle school. So I've been up there a time or two. So yeah, it'd be good trip.
Yeah, fun, friendly rivalry. And yeah, that Care Park there in Irwindale, it's a nice place for a game with the sun setting and everything and great environment. So we'll see you on Thursday. Coach Burns, can't wait.
You got it. Appreciate it. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you.
Take care, Coach.
Thank you. Okay, now. Bye-bye.
Well, Coach Burns back on the podcast, first time on the Charge to Keep podcast, of course, but such a fun guy to talk to. I can't say enough great things about him. He's a man of character, a guy that builds character with his team and his players. I wanted the fans for Rio here to see kind of that, the competition that Rio is going to be going against. You'll see what's on the field, of course, but the product that Coach Burns puts on that field. He has high demands for his guys, and he's coached, like I said, at all levels. He coached in Washington in the NFL, I believe, and you heard some of his college stories there, but just a tremendous guy. He did a long form interview with me one time on the Get Home Safe podcast, where you can hear all about his accolades and his where he coached and his resume and everything. But Coach Burns coached Landon Goodwell back in the day, so I know Landon's going to be watching this game on Thursday night, maybe biting some nails, worried that his alma mater can't beat his college coach or whatever, vice versa, however it is. Hey, do it for Landon, guys. Do it for now. The boys got enough to worry about out there, but they got a ferocious group in the Linfield Christian Lions coming into town on Thursday evening. Linfield is 1-1. They beat Laura High School 41-7, where they put up quite a bit of yards, and then they lost last week to Pacifica, pretty good program there, 41-22. So even in a losing effort, the Lions put up 3 touchdowns. They've only turned the ball over once this season, which speaks volumes to their program. And so the Cares want to win this game. They want to compete. They got to win that turnover margin like they did last week. And just real quick, my 5 little keys to the game, if you will, here. These podcasts are supposed to be short, but when you throw an interview in there, it goes a little longer. For me, my 5 keys for Rio, the KARES keys here on the upcoming week 2 game. Number 1 is improvement on the screen pass. They had a great pass rush this last week, but if Linfield does throw some screen passes at them to slow them down, I want to see the Cares ready for that, because El Monte ran some good screens last week and kind of caught the Cares off guard, and we'll see if there's improvement there. Limit the air assault, number 2. Linfield, they put the ball in the air. I mean, they're a pretty balanced team, but I do think they have some big play capabilities. So Rio needs to bend, not break there with the pass defense. And of course, the best pass defense is a pass rush, of course, but so can't have too much of an assault there in the air against the Cares. At number 3, I'd like to see about 5 completions or more for the Rio offense. They threw the ball early and often. Or not often, I should say early, but not often in the game there against El Monte. But I would, even if the Cares don't throw it often, if you can, complete 70-75% of your passes, that would be great. A lot of play action. We know this. We're not giving any secrets away. They have the game filled too. So I would like to see, you don't have to pass all game, but the passes that Rio does throw, I'd like to see completions and be efficient there. Number 4 for the Cares, clean up penalties. They had a few bad penalties on Friday night. A few of them I didn't agree with. Some of the personal foul calls, I thought Ryan McCullough was being tackled all night, but that's one man's opinion. I didn't like, there was a 4th and short yardage play where Rio went offside. That's inexcusable. Can't happen. There were some other penalties in there, but I thought overall it was clean, but high standards with the penalties. You cannot beat yourself, and I'd like to see Rio clean that up a little bit this week. And finally, the 5th Cares key of the game for me is something big on special teams. Last week, they were okay on special teams. They punted from that quick kick formation. They were okay in extra points and coverage and things. Kickoff return was all right, kick coverage. But I want something big on special teams. I don't know what it'll be. Maybe it's a block punt. Maybe it's a kick return, a big play of some kind. Somewhere in the special teams, let's see if Rio can take advantage of a miscue or something in the kicking game. Those are my 5 keys, some things that I'm looking forward to this Thursday night against the Linfield Christian Lions. Guys, that will wrap things up for me here on the game preview brief. I'm going to be releasing these episodes 24 hours before the game. So last week I did it the morning of the game, and I think it might have had people scrambling. But this way, if the guys on the team want to listen or watch the podcast, they can do so maybe Thursday night, or typically when we play Fridays, or Wednesday night in this case. But 24 hours, 7:00 game on Thursday. I'll release this 7:00 on Wednesday. So that's the plan moving forward. So look for the game preview show on Thursday nights around 7:00 if we play on Fridays at 7:00. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, to this very brief podcast episode. I'm going to have these before every game, so get used to this. And then, of course, our Sunday game recap show with Coach Carson, a player, and a special guest. That's the vision I have. I don't always know if it will work out, but we'll see what we can do in moving forward. Thank you for joining us. Such big thanks to Coach Burns for taking the time out of his busy schedule to spend some moments with me. That's always fun. Can't wait to shake his hand on Thursday night before and after the ball game. But guys, as always, this is your friendly reminder to always be humble in victory and gracious in defeat, because we always have a charge to keep.